Welcome to The Read Along,
a mini book club for your ears.
I'm your host, Scott.
I'm your other host, Anita.
And join us on a journey through a good book,
one chapter at a time.
Do you like talking about movies? Do you like talking about mediocre movies? Do you like talking about how you could have fixed mediocre movies? Well, I certainly do, and you can listen to me, Scott C. Bourgeois, along with my co-hosts Greg Beaver and Liam Creswick, as we give our notes, and I have some notes. You can follow it now on your podcatcher of choice, or support it by visiting patreon.com/IHaveSomeNotes. You might hear the rumbling of thunder in the background.
Maybe. Depends on how good our mics are.
Yeah, we got a late summer thunderstorm rolling through as we sit down to record.
Boom, boom, crash.
We had both come down to set up to begin recording, and there was I thought I saw a flash in the window, and I was like, was that lightning? And then thunder.
Boom, rumble,
and I was
rumble,
like,
rumble, rumble.
That was lightning.
that was definitely lightning.
Yeah, I like a good evening thunderstorm.
I love a good thunderstorm. I don't care what time it is.
I have a CD of like thunderstorm sounds and like lo-fi music for like listening to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a teenager, I'd put it in my CD player.
Just let it go.
Dating myself a little there.
That's right.
And yeah, just let it go and help me fall asleep. The sound of like distant thunder rumbling, it's music to my ears.
I am the same. I currently have an app that plays different rain sounds and different thunderstorms, and I put that on in the distance and just out I go. I love a good thunderstorm.
I mean, if you're looking for something to say to us on social media, drop us a line. Let us know what weird like ASMR thing does it for you when you're trying to fall asleep.
Yes, please. I would be super curious about people's weird ASMR things.
Yeah.
The strangest things can be soothing.
Very soothing, yeah.
This is completely off topic of the book. A friend of ours once spent way too much time in a store trying to find the correct clink between lid and, I think it was candle, because they were listening for just the right sound. Too much ASMR. They were fussy about which lid clinked the right way.
Yep. Some things just like hit your brain just right.
Yeah, right?
And it's like, it's perfect soothing noises.
Yeah. For me, thunderstorms 100%. I'm with you. This is why we are married.
One of the many reasons we are married. There
are this
several.
is the sole foundation.
This is it. This is the one thing that overlaps in the Venn diagram of our lives.
It's all we got.
It's all, not even our children.
Nope.
No. Anyway.
We should get back on topic.
Let's get back on topic. We'll get into the penultimate chapter of our novel.
Yes, I believe it is.
Indeed. But before we do that, we will, of course, do a brief recap of our previous chapter, in which we got a big old villain monologue from Jacob the Whistler, who explains everything finely down to the finest detail, making a terrible critical error because it gives Mallory time to rally, and she uses her stored binding spell to something. And we'll find out what as we move into chapter 35, the penultimate chapter of The Undetectables by Courtney Smyth. Now, I had assumed that the binding spell was going to be directed at a person.
Yeah, you thought she was going to bind Jacob.
And you thought she might bind Cornelia.
To save her life.
Or herself, to give herself some strength.
Yeah.
But what she actually does is she uses the binding spell on the delicate, fragile glass knife.
Yes, brilliant.
That he's been using to commit his murders.
I genuinely wrote down in my notes, good thinking, Mallory.
That was great lateral thinking.
Yeah,
the
awesome.
very thing Jacob should have been proud of her doing.
Yeah.
Thinking laterally and using her magic outside of the box.
I know.
He was not proud.
Can't see the forest for the trees.
No, he was not proud. And in fact, as the knife disintegrates, basically,
shatters, really,
and the souls trapped within it dissipate into the air and start swirling like a thunderstorm, like the one outside. The lie to Jacob's comment about being cool with being caught, being cool with being foiled, it just meant it was not meant to be, is immediately laid bare.
Oh yeah,
because he is practically foot stomping, tantrum upset.
Oh, he's mad.
Like he's shocked. And he doesn't really act. And there's a level of dismay here, but at the same time, like, dude was not cool with being stopped. He's even like, I had planned this so carefully. I had planned for every contingency.
He genuinely goes off on like a mini monologue.
He has his villain breakdown.
Yeah.
If he had his villain monologue last chapter, this is his villain breakdown.
Absolutely.
This is where the smug villain who thought of every angle realizes that there was something that he hadn't thought of, and it all comes falling apart. And it's all laid bare.
I do love this as a little more villain, both character and exposition, as he sort of...
He's petulant in a way.
He is. He goes off on how Mallory was supposed to understand because she was so much like him, right? That they had all of this in common and she was supposed to be on his side and get it and be part of it.
And she's just like, no, we were not on the same. You were murdering my friends and then me.
Yeah.
How were we on the same side?
Exactly. But I do love it as just a little more of our villain, right? Like, at least now we have his reasoning, misguided as it is.
Well, we had that last chapter.
Yeah, but now there's even more of it, right? Like, it's just a little juicier. I enjoy it, is what I'm saying.
No, fair enough. Yeah, he basically stands there and just, like, mopes.
Yeah. Like, you were a nobody, and how come you're stopping me from being a somebody? And that's not exactly what he said, but you get the idea,
It's the
right?
paraphrase, yeah, for sure. And then a bunch of angry ghosts get their revenge. Because it turns out being murdered, people don't care for that.
No, they do not.
And when they get the chance to get some revenge, they might do that.
Yeah.
And so they do. So this swirling mass of angry spirits descends on him, and he gets whistlered by them.
The cinema in my mind for this scene is so fantastic. It was like, forgive the spoilers for a really old movie, it's like the end of Raiders. Right? When all the ghosts are swirling around and then the face melts.
Yeah.
Imagine someone trying to recreate that with modern tools. Right? With modern CGI tools and modern effect tools.
I almost feel like they'd ruin it. There's something about a practical effect like that that's timeless.
Oh, I know. But like imagine like instead of just the ghosts swirling around, like it's an angry thundercloud of all these different colors. Right? Because she said the souls are all different colors, which I think relates to our magic science.
Absolutely.
Right?
I was picking up on that.
Yeah. But imagine this angry rainbow coming at him, right? And like attacking him and going inside him. And oh, it looked cool in my mind.
Yeah, and then he spits out his tongue and dies.
Gross.
I mean, he kind of got what was coming to him.
Oh, no. Poetic justice, for sure.
But then there's a problem. You see, we've already established the mayoral offices are kind of hungry for a blood offering.
Yeah.
This was bigger than a blood offering on Samhain. And the mayoral offices react about as badly as they possibly could.
Yes.
More so even than before.
Yeah,
Things start to get explodey.
This is the crumbly tower at the end of almost every Zelda game where it's all coming down on your head and you must run.
This was a load-bearing tongue, and it's all coming down. Sorry, Anita needs a moment.
It was a load-bearing tongue.
So Cornelia's injured. But she's not so injured that Mallory can't haul her up. And they force their way through the door to find Diana also injured on the other side. And they, like, scoop her up as well, and they all start hobbling their way towards the door as everything comes crumbling down around them.
The paint is bleeding on them, and doors are exploding, and
stuff is flying around. Angry poltergeist stuff is going on.
Yeah, it's very upset building.
Yeah, and as they escape, Mallory believes that she can hear maybe sirens coming.
Now, here's the thing.
cavalry is finally on its way.
Is it, though? Or are we talking, like, spiritual sirens leading them to their doom?
No, I'm pretty sure that the police are going to show up.
We're
coming up on the last chapter. There's going to be some denouement.
Yeah.
Some price is going to be paid.
I'm sure you're right, but somewhere in the back of my head, it was like, oh, God, it's going to get worse again.
Nah, I'm pretty sure Detective Inspector O'Sullivan's going to show up and help things out.
All right. I have some comments and some questions.
Very good.
Okay. I was thinking about Jacob's monologue and relating it to the one he had previously when he was talking about Van Doren being his father, right?
Yep.
And Jacob has reached this point of desperation because of his circumstances, right? And this is what separates him from Mallory, is that he's desperate enough to commit heinous acts, and Mallory is certainly above that.
Even at her lowest, I don't think Mallory would ever consider committing murders.
No, goodness no.
And that's one of the key things that really differentiates them, is that Jacob has no qualms with doing terrible things.
And this is where it kind of sits weird with me, because I always have a certain amount of pity for someone who is acting out of desperation, because usually they are put in circumstances that are driving them to this extreme, right? And it's usually not by their own doing. This is what I wrote down in my notes as I was processing on paper. Who's the bigger villain here? Jacob, driven from desperate circumstances to do horrible things, or Van Doren, the cause of those circumstances?
This is going to maybe sound really harsh to Jacob. Van Doren wasn't the one committing murders.
It's true.
Van Doren is heinous. He's a bad actor. He's at the very least emotionally abusive. He's
minimum
distant. He's controlling. He's criminal.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not a killer. And Jacob wasn't as desperate as you make it sound, or even that I think he believes. The fact that he had the freedom to do what he did proves that that's not the case. He could have turned all of those magical gifts that he used to commit these murders and enact this ritual towards some better end. He could have done something, even under Van Doren's thumb, that could have been good.
That is true.
Or that could have made a name for himself, or that could have freed him and his mother without resorting to murders to do it.
That is very true.
But his first thought was, well, I could just commit some murders and become a god. And that makes him the bigger villain. I'm sorry.
No, that's fair. That is a sound argument you have there.
Yeah, like in his mind, sure, he was desperate and put upon, but he's not as desperate and put upon as he makes it sound like he is.
Fair enough.
I would argue Mallory's pretty put upon, and the thought of doing this would never have crossed her mind.
No.
Not in 100 years.
No.
Not even if someone had put the ritual in front of her and spelled it out point by point. She would have been like, interesting academic exercise. Let's put that on the shelf now.
This is horrible, and I should put this away so no one else could ever find this.
The idea of actually doing it would never have entered her mind.
No, I agree with you there. 100%.
Jacob is a monster. He is absolutely, this is not to absolve Van Doren. He's a bad guy.
Yes.
But he wasn't the one committing occult murders at the end of the day.
No, that's true. You got, No, like I said before, sound argument.
Yeah.
I have some questions.
By all means.
I still have questions. So, it's mentioned briefly as they are rescuing Diana that she's got her fist wrapped around something and they don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
She has got something in her hand that she is protecting with her life.
Mm-hmm.
What is she holding?
Don't know.
Don't know either. Might be important, might be nothing. Might be Nita seeing things that aren't there, but...
Could be some evidence to absolve them of what's going on.
Right, maybe?
Could be a little piece of the ghost that they promised to help. Could be Theodore.
Could be something. I don't know.
She could be holding a tiny witch light that has Theodore in it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Could
Because
be.
that's another one of my questions. Do we get Theodore back?
He's part of the team.
Right?
And he was already dead. And his soul was just released, but he was already a soul. So maybe he was indeed in ghost jail.
Maybe.
It's possible that he was indeed ghost napped rather than killed.
Yeah.
Then double murdered.
Yeah, that's sort of what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but fingers crossed. Last question. We don't see the body, and I've seen enough movies to know that if you don't see a body, there's a possibility. Is Jacob actually dead?
Oh,
or
yeah,
is he just tongueless?
Super dead. And even if he's not super dead, being tongueless removes his ability to use his magic. He can't use his whistle magic if he doesn't have a tongue.
True. By all implications, Jacob is dead. But...
I mean, we could have an end of Die Hard moment where he pops up from under the sheet and Detective O'Sullivan shoots him or something. I don't know.
That's what I mean.
But we're at the end of the story and he's been neutralized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to put it out there. If you don't see a body, we talk about this all the time in movies. If you don't see a body, maybe they ain't dead. Anyway, that's all I've got.
There you go. Yeah, not a lot. It was a pretty short chapter.
Yeah, but a juicy chunk to talk about.
Let's see what you did there.
Nah.
Juicy chunk. Yeah. At any rate, we will.
Bearing tongue.
So just a reminder for those of you just joining us for the first time. I don't know why you'd be joining us at the second to last chapter of a book, but whatever. Or just to get you caught up. Next chapter is the last chapter.
Yes.
We finish the book.
Yep.
But then we do a full book club episode.
We go full book club.
Now we have the whole book. We have all of the context. We know everything that happened, and we can discuss things like character arcs and themes, and if we liked the ending, and if we liked the book overall.
Yep. We recommend a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Some snacks.
Absolutely. And then at the end of that episode, we will announce our next book and we'll just go right into it.
Yes.
So that's.
And now we're looking
something
at each
to look
other pensively because we have not gone shopping yet.
forward to. Oh, we got plenty of time.
You say that.
We do. At any rate, we will get on that, and you will want to get on reading Chapter 36, the final chapter of the Undetectables by Courtney Smyth. In the meantime, of course, as always, you can send us a little rating and review via your podcatcher of choice.
Because we love those kinds of things.
Yeah.
They're very sweet.
You can also send us a missive via social media.
Oh, pick your favorite. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Goodreads, X, and Blue Sky. Not in that order. We are at the Read Along on most of them.
Yes, you can also send us an email.
Yes, please do. In fact, they're far more personal. We are thereadalong@gmail.com.
And with that said, as always, we love you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Load-bearing tongue.
Thank you for joining us on The Read Along with your hosts, Anita and Scott Bourgeois. All Read Along music is by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com. Cover art is by Aaron Beaver. Be sure to join us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at The Read Along, and check out our group on Goodreads.com.